It wasn't easy, but the Eagles are on in the win column, 34-29. We're breaking down everything, top to bottom, players of the game, top takeaways on offense, on defense. We're going to grade Kellen Moore. We're going to grade Vic Fangio. We're going to do it all, man. Guys, buckle your seatbelt. This is going to be a long one. Joining me, here's Rob Langy at Philly_Madness. What's good, Rob?
Hey, man, you know, it's fun that the season is back. It's just like it always is, right down to the wire. And, you know, as I've called all off season, I told you linebacker Zack Baun would be a stud. My God, I got to tell you, man, I was wrong about this guy. I didn't buy it. I didn't buy the whole thing, but, man, he was all over the field tonight. But, listen. A lot of stuff, like you said, to talk about. Good, bad, ugly. But the Eagles got to win in a very difficult first game of the season where you have to travel to Brazil, play an up-and-coming team like Green Bay. And that last drive, I know they only get a field goal there, but that last drive was the drive of really good teams. So I'll take it, and I'm happy with the W.
Yeah, guys, if you're watching us live, please be sure to comment with us. Like this video. Let us know your thoughts on this thing. We've got a lot of segments to get through tonight. We've got Eagles fan in the house. We have Philly Sports saying, holy shit. Zack friggin' Baun. We're going to talk a lot about Zack Baun.
Unbelievable.
Baun. A lot of Zack Baun love in this one. Jalen has a lot of work to do. I hope Jalen Hurts takes a long look at himself in the mirror after this one. But we'll get into that as well. Also joining us, he is Shane at Shane Happ NFL on X. What's good, Shane?
What's up, guys? My stream must have been a little bit behind because I literally watched the last snap and then walked in here. But crazy game.
It really was like this was the definition of a roller coaster. The first two series on offense could not have gone any worse. You had miscues, you had missed opportunities, tons of penalties. I thought there were lapses in play calling where you would run Barkley for 8 yards and then forget you have him. The terrible decision making by Jalen Hurts, the pick in the end zone. You could go to the drop pick 6 that by Nakobe Dean that led to a touchdown for Green Bay. There was a lot of times where the Eagles in this game, they were only down a little bit, up a little bit, but I feel like if the Eagles played a more tight game, like this probably would have been a blowout for the Eagles. I'll throw it to you, Shane. Quick reaction, general reaction, go.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of sloppiness, which we kind of expected. We kind of talked about when your offense doesn't play in the preseason. You're going to see that to a degree. At the end of the day, it comes down to turnovers, and it comes down to red zone efficiency. The Packers were in the red zone 4 times and only walked away with 1 touchdown. The Eagles were 3 of 6, which still isn't great. But you got the very end where you're really just trying to bleed the clock. So let's say 3 of 5. That's what decides the game. The Packers did not take advantage early in the game with a couple of short fields. And, that comes down, that ends up being the difference at the end. And I just want to it feels like such a throwback to the 2022 season. Last year, the Eagles had so many opportunities to run out a clock and couldn't do it.
Yep.
And to get the ball back with the 2-point lead and run 7.5 minutes off the clock. And ideally it ends in a touchdown, and it didn't, but still just such a throwback. It was great to watch that last drive be executed.
That's exactly what we talked about all week. Getting back to that 2022 clock management, controlling the line. Rob, quick general reaction.
Yeah, I think that last drive was what epitomized this game for me, because that is something that we've been looking for since 2 years ago. Yes, it got helped with a couple penalties, but you know what? It is what it is, right? I mean, Shane had said at halftime on your show at halftime, these referees, I feel like, just come out here and want to hear themselves talk to the point where they lose their voice in week one. Week ones are so tough to watch because the football's sloppy a little bit, and then you get that stuff going in there too. But they controlled the ball. I agree with you, Deibs. I thought there were times it was like you get 8 yards with Saquon Barkley and then go empty backfield for 3 straight plays. Like Sometimes you just got to stick with what's working. And I think that that's all going to come. And I think that the defense here's what the defense showed me today. They showed me signs of, by week 5 or 6, we could be talking about them in a much happier version. Those breakdowns that were taking place tonight, hopefully are not going to happen, because there were those moments. I am disappointed with the defensive line. I don't think that they were getting home enough until late, but hey, you went into San Paulo. It's a tough spot to open your season against an up-and-coming team, and you're going to get out of there with a victory, and you did it by controlling the clock in the fourth quarter. And as Shane said, you scored in the red zone. They did not, and that changes the whole thing.
Gosh. Guys, let's get to some comments real quick, and then we'll get to Jalen Hurts. Anyone recall this many bad decisions by Jalen in a single game? We'll get into that soon. Honestly, more of the same. This team, Nolan Smith was non-existent. I thought Bryce Huff was non-existent.
No, Bryce Huff was bad.
Yeah, at least Nolan Smith was making some pressures, but like Bryce Huff gave you nothing. I saw Josh Sweat a couple times.
Bryce Huff didn't play a lot. At one point, I saw early in the second half that he had played 43% of the snaps. I don't know if that held over the game. It's hard to catch all that stuff in real time. But yeah, the edge rushers were pretty non-existent in this game. I thought the interior played well. Shout out to Moro Ojomo for getting pressure. Causes Jordan Love to overthrow what should have been a touchdown. They end up settling for a field goal. But I thought the interior played well, and I thought the linebackers, at least in the run game, played really well. There's some coverage deficiencies, but a lot of people are going to be talking about Zack Baun's game, as they well should. I mean, 15 tackles, 2 sacks, a tackle for loss, 2 QB hits.
Wow.
Jacoby Dean played really well in the run game too, and he doesn't have the stats to show for it, but man, he was flying downhill. They both have some things to sort out in coverage, and hopefully we get there, but it was just nice to see that.
Yeah, if you can hide Jacoby Dean in coverage, you'll be fine. Avonte Maddox, that's another issue. Get help soon. Cooper DeJean.
I was going to say, Cooper DeJean, we need you, man. My God. Maddox looks like he lost 3 steps.
God says Huff was a non-factor. Baun of the dead. That call by David on Birds of the Round Table calling out Zack Baun looks like one of the better calls I can remember. Holy cow. What a game by Zack Baun. The name is Baun. Zack Baun. Baun to be wild. Deibs, please cook Shane. We're not letting him live after his game picks. Oh, man. What was that? Oh, you did pick the Packers. How about that?
Hey, Shane, great minds think alike. I picked the Packers on Monday night.
Yeah.
I was born this way. Adam Bonner.
No. Do not. No. You cannot change Adem Bona's name. That man is a legend on his own. Let's just keep Baun over here.
All right. Let's get into Jalen Hurts in this one. Jalen Hurts finished the game. Oh, I'm not in the right area. Jalen Hurts finished the game 20 of 34, 278 yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. He did take 2 sacks. One was a really bad sack at the end of the first half. There was a couple more really bad throws, like one to the sideline that could have been picked. Just reckless with the football. Way too Carson-esque for my liking, where the throw where he went across the middle of the field, just stop. Just stop with the hero ball. We lived and died with that in 2023. Have we not learned nothing, especially when it comes to the play calling? I mentioned the lapses in play calling. Can we stop with the quarterback draw? What are we doing with the quarterback draw? It gave you, absolutely nothing all game long. I didn't understand it, Shane.
Are you talking about the 3rd and 8? I didn't actually mind that call.
No, I think it was 2 down territory from the time they snapped the ball on 3rd and 8. I think that's why they ran that play.
Not even a specific play. I didn't like that play to begin with, but it was more so. It was too Nick Sirianni for me. I thought the first half we had a lot of positive flashes with the play calling. I felt like the second half the motion died. It just died. And in general, Shane, lead us off. How would you grade Jalen Hurts?
Yeah, it was a rough game for Hurts, I thought. And his overall stat line, I mean, he throws for 278 yards and 2 touchdowns. It was a rough game for him. I thought the opening interception that he threw, it was just a bad decision. I get it. Like, you've got Devontae Smith on a linebacker carrying him up the seam, but it was split field safeties. Like, a safety was always going to be there. And that one was a bad decision. The interception he threw in the end zone, I mean, the play before that should have been a pick six. They ran the fake screen vertical route, and nobody bid on the fake screen. Well, somebody did, but not everybody. And so the vertical route's not there. And then you come back to it with the defender that's still just standing right there that hasn't moved, and you try to throw it back to him. I mean, that was a terrible decision. Should have been a pick six. It gets dropped, and then you come right back and throw crossbody, rolling right, throwing left into the end zone late. You just can't do that. I thought he really struggled in the red zone. I thought he really struggled in the read option game. I didn't think he was making correct reads. I don't need to see a read option the rest of the year. Just don't need to see it. Just put the ball in the belly of the back, throw the ball to your guys. Like, if Hurts doesn't want to be a runner until you're on the last drive and then he lowers his shoulder and trucks a cornerback, that's fine. Don't do it. Just let him scramble. We don't need to design running game things for him. So I would like to see that die. Overall, I would give Hurts like a D for this game. I thought he struggled, but he bounces back that last drive, and that's what you like about Hurts, is he doesn't typically let things compound on him.
And to his credit, that one scramble he had where he got hit and got like 5 extra yards for the first half. That was old school Jalen. But I thought he looked slow. I thought he looked a step slow. He didn't have, to be fair, like, the Eagles beat like multiple opponents in this one. The refs, the Packers, and that field. I mean, that field was absolutely slop. But yeah, I think a D is generous, to be honest. That's not good enough. What about you, Rob?
Yeah, I mean, I kind of like the grade of a D because, he does come back, and on that drive, he makes some good decisions, makes some good plays. But listen, Deibs, you hit it right on the head. Okay. You saw that article at the end of the year come out that talked about Hurts wanted to play hero ball because he thought he had to play hero ball. Today, those 5 or 6 really big mistakes looked like him trying to play hero ball, and it was unnecessary. It was just like that third down interception. You get a field goal there. You are up 8 points. You are up a touchdown and a 2-point conversion. There's no reason. I understand AJ waved his hand in the air. Like, you don't have to throw it because AJ waves his hand. He'll understand if you don't throw the ball. He's got to be better. The decision-making has got to be better. I mean, they lucked out tonight that the turnovers did not crush them because, give the defense credit, they were able to stop them early in the game, hold them to 2 field goals, or we may be talking about a much, much different outcome today. In 2022, I kind of remember this in the first game, right? That's when did they play Detroit in 2022 first game?
Yeah.
And he wasn't great, and it was frustrating, and we were talking about it, and I'm hoping that he goes back and looks at this and goes, okay, look, we got a good team. Look, Saquon Barkley is a friggin' dynamic player. Keep it simple. There's no reason to play hero ball. So I think the D's the right grade today, and they're just, he should just be happy he got out of there with a win.
Even that throw to AJ, I know AJ slipped, but that throw was a duck, man. Like, at least put some juice on that ball and get it to him. It was late. He was just late. Sean says, do you think it's too early to be concerned about Jalen? Yes.
Here's a fun Jalen Hurts stat for you that Next Gen Stats just tweeted out.
Let's do it.
On plays that featured motion, Jalen Hurts was 15 of 21 for 212 yards and 2 touchdowns. Without motion, Hurts was 5 of 13 for 66 yards with 2 interceptions.
I would love to see that split between the first half and second half, because I know they were 27 of 40 in the first half on offense in terms of pre-snap motion.
It's funny. I got to tell you, like last year, I was the one saying, I don't know. I don't think motion's that big. Man, did I love watching it tonight. It was like I did a total 180 in one game. I was like, yeah, I like this. I like all this. Like, especially in the first half when they ran Will Shipley in motion and got the it was just, it does change things, man. So I was thrilled watching that today.
That play and then the touchdown pass to Saquon in the end zone, that was fantastic. Oh, my God. Saquon looked like a wide receiver on that play. I've never seen anything like that before. As an Eagles fan, it's been a minute. Probably since Yeah, it's been a minute. Zack Baun MVP, getting a lot of comments here. 15 tackles. Hurts made enough plays to earn a D instead of an F. All right, let's get to Saquon Barkley's Eagles debut. Holy cow. A one for the ages, 24 carries, 109 yards, and 2 touchdowns. He also added 2 receptions for 23 yards and a touchdown. Exactly what we were looking for, man. 26 touches for 132 yards.
Yeah.
Shane, quick reaction.
Do you know when the last time Saquon Barkley had 3 touchdowns in a game was?
My God, I don't even know.
It was November of 2018. He did it one time in his Giants career. It was his rookie season, week 10 of his rookie season.
Wow.
So yeah, great performance by Saquon. I thought he had a few good reps in pass protection. I thought he ran well. He was effective in the passing game when targeted. That catch that he made, I mean, it's a beautiful ball by Jalen. And I said this on the halftime show, but it's not the most, like if Devontae Smith or AJ Brown makes that catch, I don't mention it because they're a receiver and they make tough catches all the time. But for a running back to make that catch, that's a pretty tough catch for a running back. So I thought Barkley was as good as advertised. I would like to personally thank the New York Giants for deciding that he wasn't worth keeping on their football team.
And then putting it out there for all the world to see when they made that decision.
Yeah, if I was going to decide the best player on my team wasn't worth paying, I would definitely not film it and put it on HBO for everyone to consume and laugh at later. But that's just me.
Even the plays he wasn't involved in, like there was one play, it was a 3rd and 2 in the first half where you had Barkley go in motion and then that quick slant to AJ Brown for a first down. Like that's the stuff, that's the juice we have been missing.
And even on that last drive, that one holding on 97 on defense was because he went to break out of the backfield and probably would have been open and got a first down. It's the dynamics of having Saquon Barkley on this team. And if I do say so myself, Monday I said he was going to be the breakout star in this game. And I think I said 150 all-purpose yards. I was off by 18, but I'm going to take a lot of heat this year for another prediction I made. So guess what? Anyone that I'm right on, I have to go real loud with it because my other prediction is probably not going to come to fruition.
I wonder if you could like hide Nakobe Dean on like passing downs and put in Cooper DeJean or something like that. They could figure something out. There's a way, but I don't know. I don't know, Rob. I don't know about your Devin White takes.
I don't know what you're talking about. I never took a Devin White take ever.
I don't. It's not looking good.
I did not spend $70 on a shirt that said Devin White's going to be a stud. I didn't do that.
Someone do a wellness check for Giants fans tonight. Jay says, get Barkley with some O-lineman leading the way. Don't tell me beef jerky can't pull. Like, all right, let's go.
My favorite, speaking of Giants fans, my favorite is there was a Giants fan that tweeted the clip of Saquon slipping on the first play of the game and did like the alternating capital and lowercase letters that was like, Saquon Barkley's not washed. It's the Giants O-line that's making him look bad. And I discovered that in the third quarter when Saquon scored his 3rd touchdown. And I quote tweeted that and said, yeah, that aged well.
Let's go to receiver. AJ Brown, 5 receptions for 119 yards and a touchdown. That 67 yard touchdown was one of the better highlights of this one. I thought Devontae had 2 massive first downs late in this one. Yeah, they only got a field goal out of it. But those were just huge turning points in this game. Rob, any thoughts on the receivers in this one?
Yeah, I mean, I thought AJ does what AJ does, right? You know, the slant was deadly. The bomb, the 67-yarder was great. I just love Devontae Smith because of the possession receiver that he can be, the tough catches he makes over. You know, think about it. When he came out, everybody said, "Oh, can he hold up? He's too thin. He don't care where he's at on the field. He don't care if it's over the middle. He doesn't care if he's getting crunched. He's coming down with the football." And to have that when you have these other guys on the team, is just special. Like, I know his stat line is not going to read like great tonight, but I think it reads very solid. And I think he was a crucial part of this offense, making really big catches at times when they needed that. So very, very nice to see. And, I know he's not a wide receiver, but I know he's a pass catcher. I thought Dallas Goedert, made a couple really nice plays tonight, which is what you need. It wasn't a great night, but he made a couple plays when you needed them. And, right now he's the fourth option, so that's okay.
How about the Eagles moving for Jahan Dotson and him getting one target? And I'm pretty sure that one target could have been a pick six on the sideline there. Shane?
Was that Dotson? I
think totally, it was Dotson.
Yeah, I didn't ever actually notice who the receiver was on that one.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought AJ and Devontae both had good games. Devontae, it was a super easy throw, that drag route on the last drive where Quay Walker thought somebody was picking him up. That's not impressive, but he breaks 2 tackles and gets the first down. So that was awesome. Would like to see Jahan Dotson involved more, but Jahan Dotson's not going to be a high volume guy. It's just about having somebody that will catch it if they're open, which is something the Eagles haven't had at a wide receiver 3 in a long time. So I saw some comments on Twitter like, why did the Eagles trade for Jahan Dotson if they're not going to use him? The offense is always going to funnel through AJ and Devontae. Like, that's always going to happen.
Yeah.
He'll get some opportunities. It just wasn't in the game flow tonight, I guess.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. We got Reese in the house. What a freaking win. I didn't see Dotson. Yeah, they barely went. Yeah, Kenny Gainwell made a couple guys miss. Had a big first down in this one. Yeah,
He did on that one play, but God, when he comes in, I just I'm like,
Jay says Smitty was dominant with yards after the catch. I feel like defenders were just on their heels like every single time someone caught a football, because there's the field. I don't know if that had anything to do with it, but like they couldn't cut. They couldn't. It was just a disgrace of a football field out there. But let's get to the defense before we start getting into player of the games. Led by Zack Baun, 15 tackles, 2 sacks, 1 tackle for loss. There's a guy that never played inside backer. Most of us thought he would be mostly utilized as an edge rusher. He had 2 sacks in this one, but more importantly, I thought his run defense was excellent. He was consistently solid against the run. Yeah, the Packers did give up some the Eagles did give up some big runs against the Packers. I'm not so sure how much Zack Baun was involved in that. But Shane, any thoughts on Zack Baun and the rest of the Eagles defense?
Yeah, I thought Baun played really well. Nakobe Dean, I mentioned a little bit earlier, I thought played well. Slay played well, I thought. Quinyon Mitchell, I'm really excited about. I thought Quinyon Mitchell had a really good showing, especially for a rookie making his first start. The one out route, they highlighted it on the broadcast. Yeah, it was thrown a little bit inside. If that ball's thrown outside, it's going to be a catch. That's a tough route to defend, but he did a good job of being in position and a great play on the ball to knock that out at the catch point. So I was really impressed by Quinyon, really encouraged by what I saw from him. Overall, like, the tackling was really poor tonight. I'm not going to judge that too much since they were playing on a slip and slide. It's kind of hard to gain your footing and break down for tackles. It's worth mentioning and watching because this was a really bad tackling team last year, and hopefully that doesn't continue moving forward. But overall, a lot of positives. The negatives would be Avonte Smith and the edge rushers, and Avonte had a rough game. I'm not sure why the Eagles deployed their corners the way that they did. Like, all we heard was Quinyon Mitchell is going to start and he's going to go into the slot and nickel, and Isaiah Rodgers is going to be outside. Well, when Isaiah Rodgers isn't healthy all of a sudden, I don't understand why Keely Ringo is not out there, because Keely Ringo looked really good in the preseason. Yeah. And Avonte Maddox was playing safety. You're putting him in a position he didn't even play in the preseason. Yeah. That just seemed weird to me. It feels like they just don't really trust Ringo, which they see him more than I do. But what I saw in the preseason was really good. So I'm not sure I got that. But Avonte Maddox really struggled.
Yeah.
I love the swagger I saw from Q. the trash talking, the one play where he broke up the pass on the sideline.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh, I'm gonna actually bring that up so we can see that again.
Yeah.
Rob, thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, look, first of all, I was wrong about Zack Baun. I did not believe. I kept saying I'm selling this stock. I don't think it's going to. He was all over the field tonight. I was very happy to see Nakobe Dean, do what he did. I really would have liked to seen him come in with that pick six. Like that's a play that's got to be made. And you see what happens. You don't make that play in 5 minutes. A couple plays later, it's a touchdown for Green Bay. But Q. Oh, my God, man. I love the swagger from the first play when they try and go deep on him, when they try and test him deep, and he knocks it away, and he's right in the face of the receiver. I mean, this is a kid that, you heard all the talk, you heard all the praise, but he's playing outside for pretty much the whole game, and he just answered the bell. I mean, he just answered the bell. He got one penalty called against him, but outside of that, there was another play where he comes in and he pops the ball up in the air, and it's almost, there's a possibility for a pick there. Look, I mean, this play, that's what they teach you, right? Like that's what they teach you as a cornerback, how to defend that play. So very happy with that. But I think Avonte Maddox is not a slot guy anymore. I think we saw that tonight. I think, like Shane said, he should be a safety. No idea why you're not going to give Keely Ringo the opportunity if Isaiah Rodgers is hurt, and put your best guys out there, because I just don't think Avonte Maddox has it in the slot anymore, unfortunately.
We have a comment saying, I owe Reed Blankenship an apology. That interception was massive.
That interception looked almost, if you could find the highlight of when he picks off Aaron Rodgers for his first career interception, it's almost the exact same play, if I remember correctly. Okay. It's a little hook. The guy and he reads the quarterback's eyes and dives on it and makes the play. I mean, it was unbelievable. And it was huge at such a big time, to make that play, and then you're able to go down and score and almost score. Is that the one that ended up throwing an interception after that, or did they score? No, they scored a touchdown. That was Saquon's third after that pick.
We had some Jordan Davis hate. I didn't think it was terrible. Shane, any thoughts on Jordan Davis?
I found the play, by the way. I threw it up here for you, Rob, but
just diving in out of nowhere, like he reads the quarterback's eyes.
Yeah. Jordan Davis, I'm going to have to watch again. I know there was a couple plays where I noticed him doing a pretty good job in the run game. Never really noticed him pressuring the quarterback. I also don't know how much he played on like third downs. It's really hard for me with all the things I try to do during a game to really get a good gauge on like how often guys are out there. So yeah. I noticed him a few times in the run game, and that's really it. But he's somebody I'll definitely circle back to when I rewatch the game.
And when you do, Shane, I'd like to hear from you. I just feel like he still takes too many plays off when he's out there. That he doesn't give that full effort all the time. And that's the thing about him that can be frustrating, because you're right. The couple plays, especially early in the game, he looked great, but like, I really hope it's not, he's getting tired late in the game and getting lazy again. Like we can't go through that again this year.
Yeah.
Yep. Some more comments. Maddox over Ringo seems like a veteran respect move by the coordinators.
We can't do that, though.
Zack Baun played better against the run than Jordan Davis. Q is awesome. And Jomo had that one nice play. I was overall like, again, they gave up 29 points, but I get, like Rob said at the beginning of the show, there are definitely real positives to take in this one. Yeah. Nakobe Dean's run defense. Quinyon Mitchell looks like a future all-pro. If he's going to be playing like that, that guy's going to be playing a lot of snaps in 2024. Anybody else have any other questions before we get into player of the game?
I would just say, yeah, they gave up 29 points. They went through a weird cycle where, they have back-to-back possessions that start inside their own 20-yard line, and they only give up a pair of field goals. And you're thinking, like, this is awesome. And then they gave up back-to-back 70-yard touchdown drives. Mm-hmm. And then after that, they locked it down. They gave up one field goal the rest of the game. So it was a weird up and down performance. I think you can see the potential, and, the consistency's got to come with time, and I think it will. But I think people should generally be excited about at least the secondary when it comes to the defense.
Hello, it is Ryan, and we could all use an extra bright spot in our day, couldn't we? Just to make up for things like sitting in traffic, doing the dishes, counting your steps, all the mundane stuff. That is why I'm such a big fan of Chumba Casino. Chumba Casino has all your favorite social casino-style games that you can play for free anytime, anywhere with daily bonuses. So sign up now at ChumbaCasino.com. That's ChumbaCasino.com.
Sponsored by Chumba Casino. No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 18 plus. Terms and conditions apply.
Brett Eclipse says, is there more room for improvement on the Eagles, the offense or the defense? Any thoughts?
I think both. I think both have room for improvement. This was not a clean game. Now, we say that the offense has room for improvement. They had, 3 turnovers, almost a 4th turnover, and they still scored
34 points.
34 points. So, you could tell how prolific they can be, but they've got to clean that up. Defensively, I think it's going to come because I think you saw enough that, look, Jordan Love never really looked outside of those 3 drives that Shane just talked about. Jordan Love had a trouble getting comfortable. And I don't know if that was the field as much as the defense, but the pass rush needs to get better. And I think if that pass rush gets better, that secondary is going to feast on people. Now, I don't know if they have the personnel to make it better, but you got to hope that they do, because I think that secondary can be really, really good. There were 2 of the touchdowns were major breakdowns, right? They were major breakdowns. You got to hope that they clean that up, because outside of that, I thought that the secondary played a pretty decent game.
Shane, any thoughts?
Yeah, first of all, I just want to say that Rob just gave the most Deibs answer of all time, because somebody said, which one has more room for improvement? And his answer was, they both have room for improvement. And that wasn't the question.
Shane, that's because I have not got to this is the first time I'm gracing the airways with you in a couple of years, and I'm on with Deibs all the time. He rubs off on you when you spend too much time with him.
I know. I find myself giving answers like that now, too. It's a shame. We really got to do better, Rob. But
yes.
I would say the offense. I think there's things for the defense to smooth out, but the offense, cleaning up the turnovers should be easy. And that takes a 34-point performance and turns it into a 40 plus against a team that's a contender in the NFC. They've got it. Packers, assuming Jordan Love's injury is not serious, has a great shot to go make a run for a 1 seed. I'm that high on the Packers. I think they're a very good football team, and you could have, without the turnovers, you could have easily put up. I mean, at least a field goal comes off the board with that interception in the end zone. You fumble the snap that should have been a touchdown on the tush push. So let's call that 4 points. So you at least cost yourself 7 points, and you cost yourself 2 possessions that never got started. So you're at 41 points, 2 more possessions against the Packers. That's a great week 1 performance. You just got to clean it up.
Yep. All right. Let's roll into our player of the game picks. Here we go. All right, player of the game. I'll throw it to you, Shane, first. Who are you going with?
All right, well, I'm going to take Saquon Barkley. For Saquon Barkley to come in and put up 3 touchdowns for the first time in, like I said, since 2018. It's even just the chef's kiss that the whole HBO Hard Knocks thing with the Giants and the whole discussion about letting him go. So for him to come out, the only thing that could have made it better is if it was an opening game against the Giants at MetLife. That's literally the only thing that could have been better, but that's coming. So Saquon Barkley gets player of the game for me.
That's a really good one. What about you, Rob?
Well, and Saquon, first Eagle in his debut to score 3 touchdowns since T.O. did it back in against the Giants, as a matter of fact, back when he came over. But I'll go with the linebacker I've been talking about all off season, Zack Baun. Of course, I've been talking about Zack Baun all off season. Never Devin White. No, honestly, dude, the kid showed up tonight, man. I was thoroughly impressed watching him all over the field. I mean, he's got energy, he's got tenacity, and love that the final sack of the game is his. You know what I mean? He comes in and gets Malik Willis down, just kind of putting the exclamation point in the game. Very, very impressive first game from a guy that we all said he's been on the edge the outside linebacker his whole career. Now we're moving him into the mid, and he answered the bell, man. And yeah, are there things that he's got to clean up in coverage? Sure. But from a tackling standpoint and from a being all around the football standpoint, in coverage, he helps Reed Blankenship's interception by cutting under that route and making that throw have to go a little bit off target, which allows Reed to jump in front of it. So, Zack Baun, well done, my man. I'll make a shirt for you next.
That was a really good one. Man, so many different routes to go on this one. I could
no
go
coaches.
No, I'm not going to go coaches in this one. Not today. I'm going to go Quinyon Mitchell. I thought Q was very solid, showing, flashes, glimpses of what he could be, in the very near future. I love the swag, the confidence. He's got it all: the athleticism, the closing speed, the read and react ability, the size. We saw it breaking down passes in the end zone to the sideline. He is every bit as good as we all hoped. There was a lot of discussion about maybe he's not ready yet, especially for the outside, but I think he's going to – I just think we're just seeing the beginning of a very special career from Quinyon Mitchell. Like I said, I think this guy's got all-pro potential, and wow. And once we get Cooper DeJean on the field healthy, where he can just read and react, utilize his natural athleticism – on that football field, it's going to be a lot of fun for Eagles fans, man. So Quentin says runner-up is Devontae. Brad says selling my soul for Saquon to have good health the whole season. Let's get to our grades for tonight. This one's tough because it was a roller coaster. There was a lot of positives. Yeah. There was a lot of concerns. There's a lot of things I really hated about this game, even though they beat a good team, even though I think Jordan Love was really hot and cold in this one and missed a lot of throws. Shane, how would you grade tonight's performance?
Yeah, I'll give it like a solid B. You open up on the road internationally on a horrific field conditions, and you're able to walk out with a win against a team that, again, I expect to contend for the 1 seed in the NFC. So a win is a win. There's a lot of mistakes to clean up. If that last 2 minutes goes a different way, it might be a D for me, but sometimes that's just the way it is. The results sometimes outweigh everything else. And so there was a lot of sloppiness, 100%. But I'll give it a B.
100%.
Right. Quentin says B, beat a good team, not at home. What about you, Rob?
Yeah, I mean, look, I hate to keep just repeating what Shane says, but he is a genius, so it's okay. But no, look, I came into this game from the time the schedule came out. I never liked this game. I never liked going to Brazil, playing a really good up-and-coming team in Green Bay, who I think is a very good team. It's just so many unknowns. You have 2 new coordinators, and now you're traveling across the world. You're traveling down to Brazil, and you got to play this game in a environment you don't know, and it's a weird environment, and you're stuck in your hotel because they don't want you to go outside. I never liked the feel of this game, and as many mistakes as there was, the offense puts up 34 points with 3 turnovers. And honestly, it could have been more. And because of that, I think it's a B, because at the end of the day, you're going home with a win, getting ready to play your actual home opener next week, and you have 10 days off to get ready for that. So I'm going to give it a B, because at the end of the day, you got the win. It wasn't the prettiest, but is week 1 ever pretty? Very rarely. Very rarely are week 1s pretty. So we'll take the win.
Yeah, it was such a weird game. I thought the Eagles had a lot of bad luck. Like, I remember there was one time when there was like 2 really bad calls on the Eagles that I didn't even think were penalties. Mm-hmm. One was that Zack Baun unnecessary roughness
ridiculous
call, and the other one was on cue, and it was I didn't see it. I feel like the Eagles lost a lot of loose balls. Like, balls bounced right to the Packers, and poor
Josh Jacobs fumble.
Yeah.
Josh Jacobs' fumble gets punched out, and there's an offensive lineman that just happens to be standing right there.
There's a lot of ticky-tack flags. I thought the Packers were holding a lot more. Like Jalen Carter, I thought was getting held a lot, and there was never a call. And it was just a weird game. But I'll go C+. I'll go C+ just for the fact that they won.
You're so negative.
It's amazing they scored 34 points in this one.
Yeah.
And I don't know, like I'll go back to my comment about Jordan Love. Like that guy is definitely frustrating to watch. Like he was missing throws left and right that could have been first downs, and then he throws a gorgeous pass on the sideline when you're like, where was that all night? So I thought he struggled, and hopefully he's healthy after getting injured at the end of this game. So let's get to our next segment, and that is our Eagles game in 3 words or less. All right. Eagles game in 3 words or less, Shane. What are you going with?
All right. Well, every week we put out on Twitter at the end of the game for your 3-word responses. So you can always go drop those on Twitter at Eagles Pin Pull. Put the post up right after the game. You can also drop them in the chat here, and we'll go through some of our favorite ones. We have number 1 Jalen Hurts fan chimed in and said, and I'll censor this because we're a family show here, but he said, great freaking win. We had Howie Sunflower Man said sloppy, period, needs fixing. Delco Bryan said, I'll take it. Winston Gordon said, sky's the limit. And then he put in parentheses a secondary one in case I didn't like the first one. And his secondary one is the floor is hell. And we could see both those. We had a sloppy and encouraging from Redbeard. A Sod Father strikes again from NYCE. And one of my favorites here from Joseph Triglav said, fly, Saquon, fly. So we got some good ones got some good ones coming in on Twitter here. I'm going to have to go. My 3 words is flags for everyone. Like I picture like the Oprah meme is like, you get a flag and you get a flag. And there were 132 offensive plays in this game, and there were 17 flags, which means a flag flew on 12.9% of all plays in this game. Some of that is incredibly ticky-tack things from the officials. Some of it is just the normal week 1 sloppiness, but man, I want to see, and it was same thing last night with the Ravens Chiefs. I want to see a game without an official talking so much they lose their voice, please.
That'd be nice. We got a lot of comments coming in about this.
Oh, this is a great.
Zack freaking Baun. Jalen has CTE.
Oh my God.
Lions game vibe. Jalen be better. It was sloppy. Saquon is awesome.
Thigh monster rules, baby.
Yeah. Saquon worth it. Hurts turnover machine. Motion for motion and more gray hairs. Rob, what are you going with?
Oh God, I didn't know that this was a segment. By the way, I need to be warned next time. So I'm coming off the cuff here. But
that's all right. That's mostly how it's supposed to be.
I'll go Devin White release. No, just kidding. It's not happening. But anyway, I'll go win's a win because at the end of the day, coming into this game, I was very, 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 very concerned about this game. So to get that win, to, make as many mistakes as you did and still find a way to win. And really, when you talk about, as I said at the beginning of the show, the last drive was what really excited me because that is the makings of a good team. When you could take the ball and hold it for 6, 7, 8 minutes at the end of a game and just put a team away. Now, they really should have put them away by putting it in the end zone, but still, by the time they had the ball back 20 seconds, they needed to score a touchdown. You did what you needed to do. So let's take it. Win's a win. Let's move forward on to Atlanta.
So go on. Literally what was in my head. Let's go Birds. Missed tackles galore. The bend don't break Fangio defense wins again. But but to their credit, they held it. Trade for Reddick. I think my 3 words is bring more pressure. I need to see more consistent pressure from the defensive line, mostly the edge rushers. I thought the interior was very solid for the most part, but Bryce Huff, Nolan Smith, that's what I'm going to be watching when we wrap this thing up. So that's about it. Let's wrap this show up. Shane, final thoughts, plugs, time's yours.
The interior of the offensive line needs to be better. That's my final thought. There was some exchange issues with Hurts and Cam Jurgens. We see it on the fumble on the second drive, first or second. It was the second drive because the interception was the first drive. I think I could have those flipped in my head. It was a long game, but the snap came before Hurts was ready, and it was a fumble. We get the fumble at the end of the game. It's like fumble bookends, either of which could have cost the Eagles the game. I also didn't think Jurgens was particularly good in like the run game. And so, I mean, it's first game he's played at center, but there's some settling in that's needed there. I fully co-sign this 3 words that we just popped up on the screen that says cancel QB draws and cancel read options. But hey, man, a win is a win. And I'm glad that they are able to escape from their home game that was a 10-hour flight away with a win. And I'm looking forward to doing this again a week from Monday with the Falcons for the real home opener.
Yep. What? Any plugs? Anything you want to plug?
Yeah, just be sure you're subscribed to the Eagles Pinpool Network. We got lots of shows coming your way. We'll have film breakdowns, college shows. We'll have general recap shows, NFC East recap shows. We're going to cover every aspect of the game you could ever want. So go check it out wherever you get your podcasts. Ratings and reviews are greatly appreciated.
Awesome. What about you, Rob?
Well, first of all, my first thought is how excited I was to get on here with Shane again. I have missed sharing the airwaves with Shane. It's been too long, my friend, and looking forward to doing some more of these post games with you guys this season. Monday night has become a busy night for me. You will find me 5:30 PSD, Philadelphia Sports Distorter. We're going to start it up this week. We'll be live talking Phillies, talking Eagles. Probably a lot of that. That's probably it about right now. That's all we got to talk about. And then at 9:00 later on, you'll find me with Deibs and our lovely co-host, my favorite person in the whole wide world, Ryan Reese.
I'm right here.
I'm just trying to suck up to Ryan. He gets mad at me. As we do Party on Broad on Monday at 9. Follow me at Philly_Madness. And yeah, man, I'm excited. We're back, baby. We're back.
Yep. Oh, man, there's going to be a lot coming tomorrow. I think I'm going to be on my couch making videos all day long. So expect all the highlight reels, all the college football shorts, winners of the week, all that kind of stuff dropping tomorrow throughout the day. So be on the lookout for that. Sunday, we'll be doing our week 3 preview as always and talking more great games at college football. So be on the lookout for that as well. One last time, throw it around. He is Rob Lange at Philly_Madness. That is Shane at Shane Half NFL. I'm Deibs, Mr. Crockpot. Thank you everyone for watching. Stay awesome. Go Birds.